Throughout this series in James, we've been talking a lot about faith. Like, that's the central theme of this letter that James writes to all of the 12 tribes scattered throughout the world. He's teaching them about faith, how to stay strong in the faith. And today for our daily Devo, we're going to be in James chapter 5, and we're talking about patient faith. Like, what does it look like to trust God patiently? Because sometimes we have faith that's really intense. It burns really hot. We're filled with motivation and the Spirit, and we get really excited. And sometimes if we're not careful, when that fire burns low, when that motivation seems to dwindle, it can feel like we've lost our faith entirely. But James is going to remind us that we need to have a patient faith. Like, we want to take advantage of the moments of excitement, but in the moments of sadness, in the moments of quiet, in the monotony of daily life, are you and I able to have a patient faith? Read with me in James chapter 5, verse 7. It goes like this. Be patient then, brothers and sisters, until the Lord's coming. See how the farmer waits for the land to yield its valuable crop, patiently waiting for the autumn and spring rains. You too, be patient and stand firm because the Lord's coming is near. Like 4 different times, James is telling us to be patient in this passage. And then he uses an example of farming. Now, I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, and if you're not familiar with Phoenix, Arizona, there's not a ton of farmland. So a lot of the agricultural metaphors in the Bible, sometimes they're a little lost on me. But I'll never forget, I lived in Kansas during my sophomore year of college, during the summer. I was playing baseball there, and I actually lived on a farm, a real farm. It was 10,000 acres of crops, and there was over 1,000 head of cattle on this farm. And so during that summer, the agricultural metaphors of the Bible, they kind of came alive for me. And so when I read things like, see how the farmer waits for the land to yield its valuable crop, patiently waiting for the autumn and spring rains, I'm reminded of those farmers I lived with in Kansas. I'm reminded of their patient and calm attitude during the hot summer months as they prepared for a harvest in the fall. And I'm reminded that when the harvest finally came, they were ready to spring into action with all of their might. And I wonder if Paul uses this metaphor to remind you and I that there's going to be seasons of our life where we need a patient, waiting faith. But the season's going to come when the rains are pouring down from heaven and we need to go all in for the harvest. We need to patiently await the Lord's coming, but when he comes, we need to be ready to spring into action, having built our faith on the foundation of patience, now ready to do whatever it takes for the kingdom. And so I hope you can be encouraged today. If you're in a little bit of a down season in your faith, to be patient, brothers and sisters. Wait until the Lord is coming.